Anyone who just takes that time out to teach you every single day about everything you need to know in your future. No matter what, you could have done the most craziest thing, got caught for doing this, got caught for doing that, got locked up, you know, got into this, and at the end of the day, they're by your side. They're gonna cuss you out, they're by your side. And so I really, really think that bond can be actually formed with anyone who may not be your biological mother.
Okay. The role a mother would play in the household, she would be the one, that provides the emotional support, whereas like the father is the one that gives the monetary and like the disciplinary aspects of growing up, whereas the mother is the one that's kind of shows you how to love.
Tina, quit texting. Why you texting stupid ass messages? You stupid ass bitch. Your sister's a fucking whore. She's at my motherfucking house with Jimmy. I don't give a damn. They can both die and go to fucking hell. Fuck you, fuck her. Don't call me. Don't talk to me, bitch. Fuck all you nasty ass bitches. And I hate y'all. I hope you die and go to hell, bitch. Fuck you. Don't call this fucking number no more. I'm gonna see you, talk to you. I hope you bitches die.
It is strange how you could be denied something that is rightfully yours, isn't it? Each and every person on this planet is born from a woman that should be affectionately titled Mom. We are supposed to develop an emotional bond with the woman that spent hours to put us here, but for many, they don't get that chance. Meet Shay Lenore. Shay is a 24-year-old woman from Chicago, Illinois, currently working her way through school with no family close to help her here in Tallahassee. She credits 3 female family members for taking on the mother role in her life.
Fortunately enough, after my mother passed when I was 4, that role was taken on. It couldn't be taken on by one person, but it was spread throughout multiple women in my life. So although I'll never have that one singular person to ever call mom, you know, grandma, auntie, they were mothers in themselves as they were mothers to me. My grandmother, who was like the mother, was the top dog. Just where I grew up, she was the go-to. You couldn't really get out the door without having to pass her. She's pretty much the gatekeeper. You know, the dad wears the pants. In my household, my uncle was our dad, and my aunt and my grandmother. So I was doubled with mothers. So it was double the stress of oh, before you walk out this house, you must look this way. Before, you know, you never speak to me like this. You never speak to anyone like this. Your grade's better to be this. So I feel that the mother plays the reinforcer.
Oddly enough, Shay prefers the way she grew up over tradition.
I actually think that if my mother was alive today, I don't think I would be as competent and as successful as I have been. Just because I don't even think that she, and I hate to say this, but would have embodied all of those roles. That was like a combo, like a multi-pack in one. People rarely get that. Like, not to say that I underestimate her abilities to raising me, but what had been happening up until the age of 4, if that had continued to happen, such as neglect and drug abuse on her end, I wouldn't be talking to you today.
I was raised by my mom from 0 to 10, but I wasn't really raised with her. I was on and off with different family members, mostly my grandparents. So my grandmother is like my mom, so that relationship is great, but it was strained after a while too. But with my mom, being that she was addicted to drugs, and since I've known her, it's never been a real relationship, but I've always had that connection as I want her to be my mom. I want it to be, you know, an innate feeling of that's my mom, so she knows no wrong.
Like Shay, Keena was raised by her grandmother and older sister. For Keena, growing up came at a younger age than most due to her mother's drug abuse.
You can see my mom with her eyes, she's still high, because her eyes get real big when she's high.
Fuck you, don't call this fucking number no more. I'm gonna see you, talk to you. I hope you bitches die.
I have times, you know, being that she was addicted, so she would be gone for weeks, months at a time. So the person that would be raising us, and I was actually talking to my sister last night, but my older sister, I'm the 3rd of 8, so When we were obviously before 10 and 11 years old, she was raising us, and my sister had to be like 11 or 12, you know, taking care of an infant, you know, and her younger siblings, and all that stress adding up onto us. So it's kind of like I had to grow up real fast. Without a mom, I feel like you have to, like, as a woman and as a young girl, I had to pretty much age faster than most people. Like, I knew it, like there wasn't anything that I didn't know about life.
Once I turned like 4 and 5, I would say 4 and 5, I started, like, my memories, like, I pretty much like buried those memories, because that's when a lot of stuff started happening in my life. We lived in Minnesota, and it was me. My older siblings lived in Illinois with my mom and dad. So then it was just me and my little sister, Sade. And she's 3.5, almost 4 years younger than me. And and we would be in Minnesota, and my mom would be working, my dad would be working, and we would have a babysitter. And the babysitter was my cousin that I mentioned earlier. And like, he would just, you know, that's where I got, exposed. I got exposed to, you know, the realm of sex. I'll just get into that, but I won't get into detail. But, you know, I saw him do stuff to my sister, and I knew he was doing stuff to me. But the reason that I didn't, it's important to talk about it, the reason that I didn't say anything is because he would tell me, you know, your mom's doing it, your mom did it, and she said it's okay, and this is what you have to do. Even as a little kid, I just didn't understand, like, how come my mom didn't know?
And unlike some children who grow up in foster home, Keena remembers the instances of being abused by the hands of the person she trusted the most.
She was my social worker, so I figured she would be a good mom. And so I was living in the place where my younger siblings had been adopted at, and then I told her, you know, I wanted to live with her. So, like, this is where the grass is not greener on the other side aspect comes in, for real. Because when I moved there, she was fine, you know, a couple months, and then she was like, you know, clean up, do this. So everything was clean, spick and span from the house down. Then she was like, I had to get my younger sibling at the time, I had to get her dressed. So I got her dressed, and I laid the, this is just one time, this is a lot of times, but I laid the hanger on top of the bed, and she was like, why is this hanger on the bed? And if you know Mommy Dearest, like, she beat the girl because she used a wire hanger. She used a incense burner wooden stick thingy, and basically beat me till I couldn't, I lost consciousness. And like, but the way that she was doing it, like, she had all of her weight on the upper portion of my body. And mind you, I'm 16, 17 years old. Yeah, about 16 or 17 years old, and probably 120 pounds soaking wet. So, and she was probably 260. And so she's putting all her weight on my upper body, you know, saying, be quiet, and then I finally fell silent.
I honestly can remember back to the age of 2, I remember going to go see her in hospitals. That was my mother-daughter, you know, relationship. Some people come home to their mom. I come home, my sister's there, they're all waiting for me. Let's go to the hospital. Like, we do that every day. Come home from daycare, go to the hospital. So I'd be coloring in her room and showing her stuff in the bed, but never like a, you know, like a external event. It sucks because I have my sisters, like, you know, will say stories. Like, usually when everybody's sharing their stories, it used to be extremely awkward for me. I used to just go out of the room because I didn't have a story to say. Like, so she was diagnosed with lupus early on, and then it went into a diabetic coma, and then that trickled to cardiac arrest, and that triggered her death. But as of recently, exactly a year ago, I don't know why I just decided to do it. I was talking to my sister, and when I was younger, they used to, you know, with the youngest person, you know, they kind of talk around subjects, tiptoe around them, because, you know, you shouldn't be listening to grown folks' business. And my family is embedded with a lot of drug and alcoholism, and so I just learned the aunt's past the other day, but it's just funny. And my mother wasn't, you know, an exception. And so I found out that she was really, really dependent on drugs. She abused drugs, and she would often leave my sister at home to watch us. And my sister is only, I believe, like, well, not I believe. My sister's 10 years older than me. I'm 24, so she's like 34. And so, you know, to watch a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, and my grandmother would come in and, you know, like, where's your mom? But she'll see the TV gone and the radio gone, so you know where she at. She down the street copping. But that is what I found out triggered everything else. If it hadn't have been for drugs and alcohol and then getting pregnant with me, then it all went downhill. And that is something that my middle sister and I just got over, because when my mother was pregnant with me, actually it was told that she shouldn't become pregnant anymore after her 3rd child or she would get extremely sick. And so after she was pregnant with me, I wasn't supposed to make it, but unfortunately she didn't end up making it years later. And my middle sister used to hold that against me. And the thing that hurt about that the most was my sister Fallon, we both share the same mother and father. And we've always had the most distant relationship because of after my mother's death.
Of this gift, because sometimes you feel like you're by yourself.
Keena says that she has come to accept her relationship with her mom.
The relationship is what it is. As an adult, I don't feel like I have a mother relationship with her. I have she's like a distant relative in a sense. Like, yeah, it would suck, you know, if she was to pass, but it's not that same suck as if your mom would pass. Not to say that I want her to pass, but if she was to pass, it wouldn't be the same as a mom passing.
As far as the relationship with Shay and her sister?
It's okay now. We actually had a little bit of beef last Christmas regarding, or the last time I was home in May, because she thought that she thought that we didn't have a relationship, and we didn't. She thought that we more or less had just, you know, like a talking type of communication. We had a communication, but not a relationship. And she was right. The thing that brought us together was my nephew, Caleb, her son. He was born when she was 19, so she had to move back home, meaning she had to move back in the room with me. I'm like 14 at this point, 13. But when she was pregnant, she was like way nicer.
For Keena, she knows that her mother can become the woman she feels that she can be.
For me, I'm able to separate the two, but at the same time, I hold everyone accountable for their actions, because I feel like everybody, in the end, everybody's going to be accountable for their actions. So for this one, I don't take away from this day. Like, I wouldn't say, you know, the same person that left me that voicemail is the same her. When she's not sober, I don't treat her the same as when she's sober, because I feel like there needs to be a difference.
Shay and Keena leave this advice for any young girl that finds herself in the same situations and circumstances that they have been in.
After a while, you just can't keep blaming things on how you know, your past. Like, you either do something or you don't. And so after a while, you got to kind of take responsibility for who you are and what you're doing.
I would just tell her, you know, you got to live above what your circumstances. You're not your circumstances. You're not whatever they call you. Whatever they think you are, prove them wrong. Be everything that you want to be in your mind and your heart, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what's going to matter. The only person that you need to be pleasing is yourself. The only person that you have a competition against is the person that you were yesterday. So I feel like put forth your best effort to be who you want to be, and not what somebody else told you are or what you're going to be.
I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. And sometimes I feel like a motherless child alone.